here are 5 creepy places in California that you've probably never heard of. Chula Falls Trail is in Yosemite National Park, and it's an 8.5-mile round-trip hike that is fairly difficult, and it's well known for these 3 beautiful waterfalls that you get to see as a payoff at the end of this hike. However, this trail is also known for something else. It is considered the most haunted and scariest hiking trail in the United States. According to a really creepy legend, a young boy drowned in Grouse Lake, which is just off the trail on the way up to the falls. It's said that as hikers pass by Grouse Lake on their way up to the falls, they'll hear the cry of the drowning boy, and anyone who jumps in the lake to try to save him won't make it out alive. There are also claims of evil spirits that hide in the woods along the trail, and they'll lure you to the edge. And if you get too close, they'll push you off. So make sure you watch your back. Bodie is an abandoned mining town in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and it's left over from the California gold rush of the mid-1800s. Bodie was founded in 1859 with just a handful of residents and like 20 buildings. But about 20 years later, in 1879, the population skyrocketed to over 10,000 people and over 250 buildings, which included a school, houses, a general store, a jail, and a cemetery. But with the good also came the bad, and with that many people and that much gold, they were bound to have some fatal run-ins. Bodie ended up with this reputation of just being a really dangerous and scary place to be. At one point, it had over 65 saloons, loads of gambling halls, and even a red light district. The gunfights and brawls got so bad that the local paper would start its morning by asking the question, "Did anybody die in Bodie last night?" The town came to an official end in 1942 when the last of the residents moved out for safer and better opportunities. Bodie is now owned by the state of California, and there are tons of stories from tourists and visitors that claim to have seen the ghosts of Bodie's past wandering through the old decaying buildings. And there are even stories of people claiming to see the ghosts of a little girl playing by her own grave in the cemetery. Black Star Canyon is located in the Santa Ana mountain range in Orange County, and this place has a crazy history. At one point in time, this area was under the rule of Spain, and then Mexico, and now the US. And during each of these time frames, Native Americans were enslaved and forced to do manual labor. There are also horrific stories of large numbers of Native Americans being massacred and their gravesites desecrated. In the late 1800s, coal was discovered in the area, and a company called Black Star Mining set up operations, which is how the area got its current name. In the mid-1800s, there is a story of a dispute between local ranchers and a group of Native Americans. The local ranchers accused them of stealing their horses, and one night the ranchers ambushed the group and slaughtered them all. And there are tons of paranormal claims from Black Star Canyon. Some people even claim to have seen the silhouettes of those Native American horse riders up on the canyon ridges at night. There are also claims of people seeing a woman in white who just wanders the area after the sun goes down. The canyon even has its own legend of La Llorna, also known as the Weeping Woman, who's said to lure people to their death. Oh, and that's not all. The canyon also even has cryptids. People claim to see Bigfoot or Sasquatch-type creatures, as well as little gnome-like creatures that will follow you along through the canyon. Hikers in the area even claim to see strange, unexplained figures that will stalk them as they move along the trail. I have to say, Black Star Canyon sounds really, really creepy. Oak Park Cemetery was established in 1897 in the city of Claremont. Now, cemeteries will oftentimes make lists of crazy, strange, haunted, spooky places just by means of what they are. But this place really deserves to be on the list. Visitors to Oak Park Cemetery have claimed to see some really spooky stuff, like being attacked by small gray little figures that chase them through the cemetery. And there are countless stories of people seeing shadow figures lurking behind the gravestones. And visitors catch all kinds of paranormal phenomena on cameras when they take pictures or film in Oak Park Cemetery. And the creepiest claim of all is there are reports of a large, looming, winged creature that guards the entrance to the cemetery at night. That just sounds terrifying. For centuries, there have been claims of people seeing tall, shadowy, humanoid-like figures just standing on the ridges and peaks in the Santa Lucia Mountains, just watching. The first reports of these figures go all the way back to the 1700s, when Spanish explorers were coming through the Santa Lucia Mountains and would see these dark, shadowy figures just lurking off in the distance. They were seeing these figures so often that they started referring to them as vigilante oscuros, the Dark Watchers. Sorry for my Spanish. And ever since then, hikers, surfers, people just passing through the area have reported seeing these tall humanoid-like figures, oftentimes described as wearing cloaks and hats, just standing there, staring off into the ocean, silently observing. The Dark Watchers are usually only able to be seen in foggy or misty conditions in the early morning or late afternoon, and if you stare too long or get too close, they just disappear. And to this day, nobody knows why the Dark Watchers are there or what they're watching for.